out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Good morning. Hope you're well, wherever you might be. We're sliding over the hump in grand style here today on a Wednesday. Rainy Wednesday outside the window today. Kion Brown, our basketball expert, joins us coming up. Got to talk about what's going on in the NBA. Not good. Not good. Damien Sordelett, the Virginia Tech beat writer from the Roanoke Times. David Teel, the Hall of Fame writer. And Donny Lind, the head basketball coach at Mount St. Mary's. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room, as many of you do every morning. And also, message me on the Professional Door Incorporated text line, 540-391-0788. As we get through the middle of the week together. Good morning, Paul. How are you? So we have a lot going on here on the show. And how about we just get right to it? How about we just jump right into information that I was given yesterday afternoon that now has me with a very strong sense of confidence that James Franklin will be the next head football coach at Virginia Tech. Good morning, Hokie Rocks. Good morning, Tina. Paul, we on here even though you're flying to Atlanta. Wow. Thanks, Paul. That's awesome. So I got a call yesterday from a couple different people, one being my Big Ten source telling me that it's almost done, that James Franklin will be the next football coach at Virginia Tech. Good morning, Opal. How are you? And then got another call within the hour that they're actually talking about announcement days. Now, again, this is not being reported anywhere. And if this does become something that is now more common knowledge, look for it to pick up steam probably today on X and social media. So keep an eye out for it. And we'll see exactly how much of this comes to fruition. I made the prediction back on the 20th of October on the Facebook page. That this was going to happen, and I had some intel then that that was the central focus of Bruce Arians and Bud Foster. The Big Ten source also knows that John Sumrall, the head coach at Tulane, and Coach Golish at USF were also very intriguing prospects. But at the end of the day, they've had opportunities to meet with James Franklin many times because he doesn't have a job. Lots of conversations, lots of info gathering, lots of vetting can take place. And we've told you that the first coaches that we're going to be hire are the ones that aren't coaching other squads. In other words, you might get a hold of agents and you might get a hold of other folks, but you will not be able to talk to John Summerall at Tulane for any lengthy amount of time. He's got to get his team ready. Same thing with Coach Golish at South Florida, Alex Golish. So the fact that I've got 2 calls within an hour yesterday or 2 texts and then went turned into calls leads me to believe, good morning, Tootie, leads me to believe that we're going to have an announcement fairly soon that this is going to happen. So we'll see. And I know that when we did this poll, the majority of you, it was about 60% wanted this to be the case. I think a lot of people probably have cooled on the idea. And we're not reporting this as done. I hope people don't say, oh, well, they're saying on Big Dog it's a done deal. I'm not doing that. I've always just provided information from sources that I trust, that know what the hell's going on in the industry. This isn't me trying to get ahead of anybody. I'm not trying to, beat anybody on a story. I don't care about any of that. I'm just telling you what I was told yesterday from 2 sources that I trust, that this is what's happening. So we will see if it does come to fruition over the next 48 hours. Again, how you're going to know if all this information was accurate is if you start to see it probably leak today, if you start to hear about it and everything. So I'm sharing it with you. Again, this isn't me trying to have any kind of shock value. I'm not built like that. I'm just telling you that that's what I was told yesterday, that they are very, very close. Very, very close. My Big Ten source, I said, okay, I'm going to ask the question. He immediately knows. You want my percentage of confidence that this is happening? I said, yes. And he said 90%. Okay, that's all I need. And he's in the Big Ten, by the way. So anyway, if it doesn't, then that means things fell apart. In the negotiations, that can happen. I know you never know until you get to the end of the finish line. Nothing is ever done, right? But that seems to be the way the winds are blowing, and I'm just sharing it with you from 2 sources that I really trust. Okay, and we'll get into that with Damien Sordelett. But hey, you were all over. You looked at other people that you liked. John Summerall, very impressive. They were very, very excited about vetting him, and Alex Golish at USF. Both of those gentlemen had interest. The tech job is very attractive to many of these coaches, especially at coaches at group of 5 schools that want to make a next move. The fan base, the money factor, I've heard in the conversation I have with my Big Ten source, has really changed the ball game for tech. It just changed the whole vibe. And I told you, what was it? I don't know, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, that the intel I was getting was that Bruce and Bud were getting just all sorts of response whenever they reached out because of the respect that they have from all these folks. I mean, they know everybody in coaching. And the thing that stands out about Bruce and Bud is they also have respect with agents. So it's not like it's just coaches and things of that nature. So that's where we are. And I'm just reporting what I was told. And if it would have been from other folks, I probably would have just waited on it. But the things I've told you that they said were going to happen have happened. Good morning, Rodney. Good morning. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the power structure ends up being. We'll see if this is indeed true. James Franklin has a massive ego. Massive ego. Can he find some humility after what happened at Penn State and come to Blacksburg so this doesn't turn into a Justin Fuente situation again in terms of how he handled the local media, how he handled fans, how he handled people around Merriman Center. And these are questions that we don't know. But you can take some solace that if this is indeed going to be the hire, that Bruce Arians and Bud Foster, especially Bud, who's here in the New River Valley and is over there almost every day, would probably talk about those things, right? They'll cover all the ground they need to cover. Again, I haven't been worried about it at all since I know those two guys are at the forefront of all this. So if this is indeed the case, we said that Tech wanted – I don't want to word it like wanting to win the press conference. I think they wanted a name higher. I think they felt pressure. This is just my speculation. I think they felt pressure after the very long reach of a James Franklin disciple, Brent Pry. And I felt like they were going to go after a bigger name if they could. And apparently this was a fit that started to materialize pretty early on in the process. I'm getting a lot of text messages on the professional door text line. My own personal confidence is still there that this is going to happen. Is this done? Many people are asking, no, it's not done. If it were done, there would have been an announcement. There'd be a press conference called. I can't tell you where they are in the numbers process and all the things they're trying to shore up with Jimmy Sexton. I don't know. I'm just telling you the information I was given yesterday from two valued sources. And if two people have the same, basically, and I didn't say anything to the second person, I didn't say anything really about the conversation I had with the first. And it was very similar type of information. So these are people that have been, the second source has probably been notified. So that's where we're going to go, and we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. From the Mike Burnip Steeple at Roanoke Catholic to the Cowboy Church in Pulaski, and now our prayer list in Palm Coast. Let's send up prayers for Rick and Janet. Thank you very much, Morris. That means a lot. Yeah, it's a tough week this week. It's we're trying to get flights and get things out for the funeral and next week, early next week, and it's just, yeah, tough time. But I appreciate everybody's well wishes. It means a lot. I've heard from a lot of you. It's been great. It's been great. What are my concerns? I mean, I'm just going to tell you. I'm concerned about his personality fit here. I've seen this happen a lot. You have too. I mean, I think LSU is the latest example of Brian Kelly. You bring in a massive ego who thinks that they have all the answers and they don't have anybody around that can try to correct their mindset, and it implodes. We never have really gotten inside the reasons. You want to hear the red flags for me? I'm telling you right now, there's got to be more reasons than we know that James Franklin was allowed to walk with $50 million being owed to him when they decided to do it. Those are answers that we don't have. But there's not been any regret. When I got this news, I went back and looked. There's nobody on Penn State's message board even talking about him anymore. So those are my concerns. Folks, he has a massive, massive, massive ego. I mean, he has a lot of strong love for himself. And I think that's something that's going to have to level off. Do I think he can win football games? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to recruit? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting to see, especially veterans like David Teel and people in the media, Damien. It's going to be interesting to see if this all is true. And I will preface all by saying I'm confident it's going to happen. But if it's all true, it's going to be interesting to see how he settles in here. We'll see. We'll see. But there you go. It's not a bombshell. It's not me trying to get ahead of anybody. I wasn't going to bring it up, but when I got two notices, I said, you know what, let's just say this is what I was told. And it's true. I'm just telling you the truth. If it doesn't work out, we'll go into the reasons why. I'm sure I'll be told why it doesn't work out. But I do try to share with you good pieces of evidence. And, there you go. There you go. So give me your thoughts on our Professional Door Incorporated text line and what you think in the chat room. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here in Ryder. Get a free quote, 540-200-8294. Check them out at familyfencingnrv.com. Jason Green and Company, they're going to work through the winter, by the way. Thanks to Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic. Latest technology. Go get your back popped. Go get your spine straightened out, man. They are outstanding. Each and every day, we are presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Very honored, my hometown. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. Little River Heating and Air is located at 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Give them a call. Thanks to attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. Right now, more of you are in the question was, do you think the sports we're watching are legitimate or are they staged to certain extents? And about 58% of you say that they are legitimate. So that's good. National Bank member FDIC is the exclusive banking partner of the program. I've been with them for 35 years personally. And Travis Williams and everybody at Professional Incorporated, residential, commercial garage doors, family owned and operated for 38 years in business right across from New River Community College. Make sure you go see James Lawson at James Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give them a call, 540-381-8011. We've got Halloween means boogie bowling at the NRV Super Bowl. They've been around for 25 years, 382-5525. Go see them. And go get your next vehicle from Harvey's GM in Radford. So let's go to the comments. After what I have shared with you, the tidbits of information that I received yesterday. Tina says, I hope this is not true since he is so great. I wonder why bigger schools do not want him. I don't think he's an SEC fit. Talked about this with my Big Ten source. He apparently wanted no part of the SEC. And I don't blame him. You think about the jobs that are open. I mean, yeah, you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to be in the high-profile league, but look how quickly you're dismissed. LSU seems like it's just a toxic. I mean, you got to be special dude to go there at this point. The AD Prometheus says or lack thereof is going to be a problem. I agree. I don't know how that's going to play out. They've created this himself. And he doesn't need a job. He has $50 million in his pocket. Correct. So he's going to forfeit some of that. But these guys have all the money they need. When they're willing to forfeit some of their buyout, then that means, they know they're just rich beyond their imagination. I don't have any numbers, by the way. People are asking me. I don't know. See, none of that was shared because I don't think any of that's been decided completely. I think that's what they're hammering out. Another great win last night for Bob Chesney. JMU went on the road. It was a big game. We talked to their AD, Matt Roan, last week. And what did they do? Put up 52. James Madison's the best program in the state right now. I mean, you tell me that program couldn't win in the ACC. The dysfunctional from upper management is going to be a problem. That's a concern of mine too. It is. Paul says maybe he has a big chip on his shoulder and wants to whip some tail. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's what you have to hope for if you're a Tech fan. The Big Ten source I asked, we've talked. They said that he's not very well liked by any of the coaches in the Big Ten. Any of the other coaches in the Big Ten. It's not like he has a warm and fuzzy relationship with a lot of people. And that's going to have to change if he's coming to a place like Southwest Virginia. So that's my biggest concern. He'll recruit. He'll keep some of those recruits here they've been losing. He's going to have money. So he'll put together a good football team. I think he'll bring players from Penn State with him. If all this ends up being the case, then I am still going to preface it by if this happens, because I'm never going to come on and say, hey, you better listen to me. I'm right. No, I mean, things can fall apart. We've seen it all the time with deals that fall apart at the end. Moore says Virginia Tech has had big egos in the past. Remember Bill Dooley? Yeah, he wasn't he? Bill Dooley had a pretty big ego. So you're saying Jimbo would be better, Thunder says. Well, I was kind of hoping for it. Got to be honest with you. I was kind of hoping for it. It'd been great. Been great to have Jimbo Fisher here. He could have come on with me, and we both could have just talked like this. I love Blacksburg. They didn't have to pay me anything. I got more money. I need to do. I didn't pay more money not to coach than I did coaching. We'll miss that. Miss that opportunity. Yeah, Fuente 2.0 coming in where everybody hates his personality. Yeah. I mean, you go to the Penn, go find the Penn State football message board. They'll all tell you the same thing. If this is indeed the head coach, I bet Penn State's on the schedule soon. That'll be interesting. I don't know. Yeah, dysfunction. I think it's right there, Prometheus. I think it's already dysfunctional with the way they've set this up. Maybe Bruce and Bud are trying to solve some of the dysfunction. I don't know. Thunder says this is likely a Hail Mary from VT ahead of pending realignment. We're not in the inside now. There's a lot to that. And I'll tell you the other part of it, too, that my Big Ten source brought up that made a lot of sense to me. Virginia Tech knows that James Franklin's likely not going to be available for very long with all these jobs that are opening. And there's already knowledge. By the way, I'm not sure which ones it is, but there's already knowledge amongst the agents of which jobs are going to come open. Winning does solve a lot, correct. So let's say Virginia Tech really liked John Sumrall, and they did. They do. They do. And he would be a slam dunk. Let's say they like Bob Chesney, and we know they like Alex Golesh because he was another one that I got confirmation yesterday that they wanted to really vet. You can't do that until after their seasons. So you're looking at the first week of December before any of that can happen. By then, James Franklin's been sitting there in isolation for 3 months, 2.5 months, and Jimmy Sexton works as fast as any agent in the business. That's why all those coaches have him as a representative. There are going to be a lot of other schools. They're going to go after a coach like that who's just sitting there. And the Big Ten source told me he felt like, from what he had heard, Tech was getting a little antsy. Didn't want to have to wait this thing out for another month plus. And then all of a sudden, maybe their top candidate that they really both liked, Bruce and Bud, would be gone, would be engaged somewhere else. Because, again, the speculation on other jobs is already out there. SWV to Texas says Franklin gives me Star Wars vibes, as in I've got a bad feeling about this. Moore says that Bimbo Fisher accent you do, Rick, is spot on. Take it to the road. Oh, it would have been great. Maybe wherever he ends up, I'll try to have him on. You know, maybe that'll happen. You know, just wherever he ends up. Hey, Coach, how are you? And maybe he'll just be like the new Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden was I met him down at ACC Media Days back in 2004. New show. We had just broken Virginia Tech in the ACC the year before. And that put us on the map. And we got to know Bobby Bowden and his personal assistant. And so Bobby Bowden used to come on the show twice every year. When they played Tech or just during the football season, once during the summer, we would just talk about hunting and fishing trips. And they were some of the greatest conversations I ever had. Bobby Bowden was a wonderful man. Funny dude, honest dude, just a great guy. Great guy. God rest his soul. And maybe Jimbo Fisher can become our new guy like that. You're correct, Joseph, 100%. He's going to be a coach that will want complete control of his program. He will. He will. He won't answer to anybody other than who is supposed to, I guess, be in charge of it. President? I don't know. Not going to be answering to Witt. I know that. I feel like it was looking for Elmo in the 90s, people getting antsy wanting a coach. People following UPS trucks to get Beanie Babies. Prometheus says, I've been a fan of Tech since 81. If they land Franklin, it would be the most shocking moment in PT history. Steven, go Jackets. With the way Franklin looked upon his glaze at PSU, was that his attitude adjustment? Good morning, Rick. Go Jackets. Maybe that was his comeuppance. Well, it goes back to what Phil Amatian said. Phil Amatian said it probably better than I ever could. He said, if it's James Franklin, I want the interview going into Vanderbilt, not the interview going into Penn State. If you want good vibes about this, if all this is accurate, look at what he did at Vanderbilt. And then the fact that he had Penn State in the playoff last year. So if you want to look at it on the counter side of it, he has won. He has recruited. Did they ever develop a quarterback at Penn State? There are things there. What kind of a staff will it be? Will anyone on the current staff remain? I don't know the answers to any of these questions. Let's just get the official announcement that it's going to happen, that it's happened, and then we'll start to assess. Many of you are saying, if this is true, will you get him on the show? I will try. I don't know whether he'll do things like this. We'll see. The SEC is its own worst enemy now. Yes. I was surprised to hear the things from my Big Ten source yesterday about how these jobs are being looked at by these coaches in the SEC. VT's a better job. That's funny you say that. That was the exact wording the Big Ten source used. James Franklin believes Virginia Tech's a better job than LSU, Florida, Arkansas. Because of long-term stability, what he can build, the latitude he'll be given, and he's already very familiar with this region of recruiting. 100% correct, Hokie Rocks. You must be talking to my Big Ten source. You guys know each other? So, yeah, there you go. I'm not. Again, I hope people understand this isn't me coming on trying to breaking news. Oh, we've got it. We want credit. No, I'm just telling you what I was shared with yesterday. I made the prediction back on the 20th before I had the information I had yesterday. Your Rock says I have zero sources. Yeah, I think so. I think being in the New River Valley and being around here and probably talking to Brent Pry a lot about the area helped a lot. I think Brent Pry's probably been a massive recruiter for James Franklin. Let's think about that aspect of it. Brent Pry is a hell of a dude. He was on the show many times, the old radio show. I hate that it didn't work out for him. I was pulling for him. And he ended up not being a good hire, but I wanted him to have success just because of the kind of dude that he was and how great he was out on the circuit. He's an honest dude. He worked hard. He's a family man. It just didn't work out. You know, he made some bad decisions and his football teams weren't prepared. So I believe 100% Brent Pry is probably, if this ends up being true, Brent Pry is going to end up getting a lot of credit for recruiting him to Blacksburg. Absolutely. With 2 failed coaching hires, I wouldn't expect him to get more than 4 years. Well, I don't know, Prometheus. Whit won't be here. We know that. So I don't know, man. I don't know how the power structure is going to end up. I know he's not going to have too many people over him. He'll bring in his own GM. I don't know if there's going to be an athletic director for football. But I think he's going to answer to one person, and that's going to be the president. This isn't bringing in some guy who's getting his first shot at a power job. Already been to 2 power schools, and he's won at both places. Wayne says, I agree with Virginia Tech being a better job. Just surprised the coaches are realizing it. Better chance to win at the start and build something. You got to credit Pry for not being better. Yeah, I believe that 100%. Those 2 guys are close. One good thing, Joseph says, is they can bring him in early. He can start recruiting and grab some transfer portal. Yeah, I think he's going – if all this comes to fruition, and watch for Friday, watch for next Monday, then he's going to bring several guys with him from Penn State. All right. We'll get back into this. We've got Damien Sordelett. We'll talk about what I've heard with him, see what he's heard. I'll talk about it with David Teel. Donny Lind as well coming up. Basketball season about to start. And that means that we bring Kion Brown on, our basketball correspondent. What's going on, KB? Good morning.
Rick Watson, what's going on, brother? How you doing,
hey, man?
How
are you? Doing good, doing good.
I'm so sorry for you and your fiance's loss, brother.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's a difficult week. A difficult week, to say the least. But we're getting through it. We're muddling through it best we can.
All right, great. I love that.
This helps, being here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get into it, man. Horrible, nightmarish news for the NBA. Let's just say it the way it is. There's no way around it. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I feel. I think there's going to be a lot more to come out. Adam Silver, as he usually does, looks like a complete idiot. Very few comments on it. This has all happened under his watch. Your thoughts as you heard all this unfold? It makes it look even worse because they did an investigation on one of the players, and, he's fine. And then he's right in the middle of it. Guilty as anybody involved. What's your thoughts on this? And how much long-term, I know it's hard to predict, but how much long-term does this really devastate this league potentially?
Well, Adam Silver's not saying anything because he wants to kind of sweep it under the rug. We know that.
I know.
My initial thoughts were, where's the class action lawsuit? Because I had a few of those bets where I had my guy going over, and if he's going to fake an injury and get out of there, I need my bread back. That's my initial thoughts. Come on now. You can't fake an injury and then have all of these guys on all of these betting sites, and then, you lose your money that way. Let's see if we have a class action lawsuit for the FanDuels, the DraftKings, etc. That is what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm really interested to see. I'm also interested to see, I understand Chauncey Billups, I understand the Terry Roziers and the Damon Jones, but what stood out to me was that those three guys are the face of the whole thing. I know it's because of sports and the NBA, but if they have the mafia and the mob in it, why can't we see their face? Those are the guys I want to see. I've been watching mafia and mob movies since I was born. And then you say you got those guys in jail or arrested or whatever. Let us see those guys' face the same way we saw Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups getting bailed out and Damon Jones all over the news. I want to see those guys. But as far as the NBA goes, of course, there's other things going on. Stuff will come out as time goes on. Now what you'll see, though, is guys, laying low a little bit. So anything that comes out will be of the past. Will be nothing of this season, guys faking injury because it's too hot right now. And then what you'll continue to see is other sports be exposed as well. If you think this isn't going on in the NFL, you're crazy. 100%. If you think this isn't going on in baseball, you're crazy. Now it's just going to be put on the barn burner a little bit because since you see how hot it is with the NBA, the other guys are going to play it off a little bit. So it's a really ridiculous situation from all aspects. And I just mentioned the three aspects the way I'm looking at it, but it'll keep getting exposed.
And why are guys, KB, with so much money? Why are they doing this? That's what Charles Barkley said. He goes, what sense does this make? And thank goodness for Chuck, he was the only one there on ESPN who refused to even act like they wanted to cover it because, it's ESPN. Why in the world would you do this? I don't understand if you have that much wealth already. It makes no sense.
Stupidity. That's the only word I can think of. If you make $27 million per year and by doing this X amount of games, you're only making $250,000. I can't wrap my mind around it. I really can't. But I was watching an interview yesterday with former NBA referee Tim Donahue, the guy that got caught initially.
2007. Yeah.
And what he was saying was when he first got into it, the mob pulled him to the side and said, we need you to do this for a month, right? And once that month was over, he thought he was in the clear. They brought him back in because of all the money that they made, and they said, we need you to continue doing this. We made about $9 million in 3 games. So we need you to keep doing it. And if you refuse to do it, we'll take a trip to see your family. He said once he said that, he had to keep doing it. So he understands where it's coming from, and he thinks those guys are in a similar situation.
Yeah, it could be. And the mob, there's been so much cover up by all the leagues to protect officials. We see it in the NFL. I mean, we know the bias there with certain teams. The league punishes anybody who does the thing. It makes sense. I still believe that the year I think he's the greatest of all time, but I still believe the year he sat out to play baseball, I think there was an investigation about his gambling. He had a huge problem with it. I really believe that. There are a lot of people that are now going to tie LeBron into this, that they feel like now he's sitting out because of all this right now. There's been a lot of accusations thrown at him.
Yep.
I don't know who all is going to be tagged in all this. I don't know, but it feels like now the feds have enough information. The fact that they came out like they did and tagged all these mafia families, this is so widespread, man. I'm not sure the NBA ever recovers from this. I really don't.
Well, I think with time heals all things, in my opinion. And with the Tim Donahue situation, you kind of pretty much forget about it because that new wave and that new generation of fans comes in and they don't know much about it. So with time, I think it'll get better. But you have so many young fans who will always remember this. And, the reason that the around the clock sports ticker channels aren't reporting on this is because they have to find a way to get it off folks' mind. That's just it. They're going to try to do that. And if you don't talk about it, you don't think about it. But as long as there's social media and as long as you and I are talking about it, we have people who always remember it. But I think as long as they put it on the back end and they don't say a word about it, people will forget about it. I think it's just inevitable. That's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, and we already know how rampant it is in college basketball. We had the report, two or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
They were very concerned about it. It was called, actually, I think they worded it like the rampant amount of fraud that's going on, especially in mid-major college basketball like us at Radford, because they're not making that kind of money. They're not making the NIL money in most cases that other schools are making in the Power League. So it's a major issue. But why is anybody surprised? It's amazing to me. Don't you think, too, it's kind of curious that we're seeing more and more of this after all the pro leagues decided to accept betting apps and casinos and run ads and say it's fine. The NCAA comes out a week and a half ago. Hey, you know what, college athletes, you can bet on pro sports. And yet ESPN, as horrible as they are, they were talking about this story on one of their shows, and underneath they have flashing, join ESPN Bet now. Download the app. Somebody must have said something. It showed up on X. I know you saw it. It showed up on X everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
They took it off the screen after about 30, 60 seconds. We got to get that off there. Just what did people expect once you tie in to all these gambling places?
Yeah, and you talk about the mid-major college sports. There's numerous schools this season. College basketball starts in 5 days away from tip-off. There are going to be about 6 schools where guys are disqualified from play because of gambling scenarios, right? One team has 3 guys who's lost all eligibility because they were point shaving. They were offered $250,000 to lose by or to win by 8 and not by 10 plus. That's what it is. So when you have those mid-major schools, and you mentioned it, those guys that are not making NIL dollars, and somebody comes up to you and says, I'll give you $250,000 if you just lose by or win by 2 less points.
100%.
What do you think these young 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-olds are going to do? Especially knowing they might not go to the NBA. Everybody can't go to the league. But if they'll have that money for a jump start on their career once their college career is done.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's very troubling. And if they go ahead and decide the outcome of a game, not just the point spread, they're going to make even more money, which is why the whole Tim Donahue thing blew up, because he was actually changing the ends of games. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. But, and they had the video. The 2 most disturbing ones to me involved mega stars in the league. One being Kevin Durant. It was a game. He's at the free throw line, and the guy. Did you see the guy? I retweeted it. He's standing up, and he's looking. He's got this stone-faced, mean look on his face, and KD knows exactly who he is. You can tell, and where he was. And he's bent over in the free throw line. He's looking up, and the guy's going, "You better look at your phone." You can read his lips. And he goes, and he points at his hat. They were playing the Spurs, and he had a Spurs hat on. And he's pointing at his hat. And he holds up his phone again. And then KD just kind of looks at him and shakes his head. If something has been isolated, but that's something going on. The Golden State, Steph Curry, and Gary Payton Jr. You saw that one. came down to missed free throws at the end of the game, and you could tell they were acting. The Warriors were up by a certain amount of points. They were going to win the game. He missed both free throws, so they didn't get the point spread that they wanted, and they were all upset. And I'm just thinking, here's two mega stars, man, right? And they're involved. They could be involved. It is a bad look. It's a bad look. This could be – that's why I think this could be devastating, because I think mega names, even LeBron, are going to end up being involved in this.
Well, LeBron's already involved. His friend's going to tell people that he's not playing 2 days before the game and before the injury report comes out. And then you talk about Chauncey Billups being the head coach of Portland. There was a game last season where I forget who they were playing against, but they were losing the whole game, and then they go on like an 18-0 run. So it's 4 minutes left in the game. They're down by 2. Denny Abdihai has like 36 points. Down by 2 with 4 minutes to go. 18-0 run, he takes him out of the game for the rest of the game. Come on now. Don't make it so obvious. One, we understand that you're tanking. 2, now with the new reports coming out, we actually see what you were doing. You wanted to lose. I mean.
And in football, you watch a fumble. You watch an interception. You watch a drop ball. I don't know, miss a tackle. There's ways you can do it, especially at the collegiate level when not as many people are paying attention. But I think we're going to find out, and you hit it around the head. I'm going to write about this week in the Patriot. There's no way this is isolated in the NBA. There is absolutely no way. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's not real anymore. And that's the problem I'm having. I'm watching these games kind of with a side glance. How much is influenced? I don't know. And
I mean, you see the Philly fumble on Sunday, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was the most ridiculous play I've seen. And we've seen some stuff with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But that was clearly a fumble from Jalen Hurts on the tush push. New York recovers it, and they blows it dead because they say it was moving forward. That's ridiculous. Come on now. What are we doing?
I know.
It always makes you look at something a bit different now. But I know a class action lawsuit is coming out. I know it is. It just doesn't make sense to say an NBA player comes out and you do the investigation or whatever. The FBI comes out and said, this guy came in and played 5 minutes, act hurt. And now, everybody who put his unders won the money. But what about the people who bet with integrity and now have lost all of their money because somebody faked an injury? Well, it's not a good look.
No, it's not. And people are taking us all the way back to Patrick Ewing when the Knicks got the number 1 pick, when they had the least chance, like a minuscule, because they wanted Patrick Ewing in New York, right? And look at Luka.
Yeah, look at just about to say that. Yeah,
same thing, right? They make that inexplicable trade that the league kind of choreographed to the Lakers, and then they just so happened as the least team to get the number 1 pick, the Mavericks got the number 1 pick.
Yeah, and you can say that about Wembanyama too.
That's true with San Antonio. That's right.
Yeah, like nobody expected Wembanyama or the Spurs to get the number 1 pick. They wanted Wembanyama at an organization where they know everything from the top to the bottom was just spot on and ran the right way. They couldn't ruin that. And you see what he's doing so far. He's doing things you've never seen before on the basketball court. So they got their wish. They got him to the place where they wanted. And now he's about to blow up and be everywhere.
Well, people are talking about it in chat too. They're saying, happened with Wemby. Yeah, it's very troubling. It should be something. I don't know how Adam Silver still has a job. He is the worst commissioner in all of sports. He always has been. And now we see this, and he's, like you said, a brief little statement, and he just goes silent.
Yeah.
How is he not like releasing a statement every day if he cared so much about his league? Boy, we got to fight. We got to work with officials. We got to get to the bottom. He's just because I think he knows. I think they've all known. But Selig knew when baseball was cheating with steroids. He knew and hit it. They know. You're the commissioner. You know. Owners talk. They're your bosses. They tell you things. So there you go. Yeah.
When you come out and say, if you can't afford the package, just watch the highlights. I mean, what does that say about what you think about your thing?
That's true. You were talking about that. Yeah. They're just like, our league doesn't matter. Just watch. You can't find us. That's fine. You brought this up a couple of weeks ago. Just find the highlights. That's all you do.
Yeah.
Well, it has kind of put a shadow over everything. We're starting basketball season. It's changing. Radford has their exhibition tonight. I mean, it's Bridgewater. Man, I don't know what they're going to get out of Bridgewater. But the season starts next week, and you and I normally would be just, But, this is just – and we'll slide into it because we have to. For one, it's my job, and you love it so much. I know we'll get back into it. But Man, I tell you what, to me, it seems like it's tainted at least going into it here in November.
Yeah, it's taken away from it a little bit, but I'm still excited as can be. I'm preparing for my 2 games next week. Next week I'll be at Longwood Monday. Next Thursday I'll be at Hampton. So I'm just excited, dude. I'm not gonna be able to sleep on Sunday. You know how I get. It is what it is. It's that time of the year. We talk about the seasons coming up as far as Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. No, basketball is the best season of the year. It's here. Holiday season's here. The basketball tips off. I cannot wait, dude. I can't. And I've been in love with all of the exhibition games. There haven't been any secret scrimmages as we've had in the past few years. There have been exhibitions, and I've loved that because they're streaming them. A lot of people aren't, but a lot of people are. And those exhibitions are giving me hope in life as well.
Yeah, we were talking with Marvin yesterday. It's great that Carolina goes to BYU,
Yep.
2 ranked teams like that.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great game that's going to help you a lot. Who does Longwood open up with on Monday? Who do you guys have?
Longwood opens up against Mary Baldwin. So that'll be yeah. There we go.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't expect that to be the answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the answer. But the next week they do have JMU coming to town, so I think
Okay,
that's
good. That's a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah,
the Sun Belt preseason pick.
Yeah.
Mary Baldwin. What's their mascot? Mary Baldwin. Didn't they just start playing basketball?
They did not. I actually have to talk to their coach today. So I'm
let
going
me
to
know
pick
how
that
that goes, will you?
Yeah.
Sorry. It just struck me as funny. I did not expect to hear Mary Baldwin. Really?
There we go.
Where is Mary Baldwin?
I think they're in the 757 somewhere.
Stanton, Virginia.
Stanton, oh, there we are.
The Mary Baldwin University mascot. You ready?
Please.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. You ready? They're the Fighting Squirrels.
Oh, God. There we go. Come on.
Oh, okay. I would love to be able to listen to the things you're going to throw out knowing this.
Oh, man.
The Fighting Squirrels. His name is Baldwin. Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'm just helping you prep for your game. That's all.
I need it. I can't find much film on them, so I can't wait to talk to their coaches.
That's awesome. All right. Well, brother, listen, I know you got to get to class. And, have fun on Monday. We'll resume next week. We'll see how our games went. Should be wins for both Radford and
absolutely.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech fans, be happy that we probably got James Franklin coming. I mean, Virginia Tech's record in the last 5 years? 40-26. I'm looking at it right now. James Franklin record 51-15. I'm sure you guys will take that. Look at this thing, it's half full instead of half empty. Please. Come on, man. Change is going to come. He could be the guy to turn this all around. I think he's going to do a good job.
Yeah, if that announcement comes as expected, then I think Tech fan will fall in line pretty quickly. I agree.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good hire for Virginia Tech if they get James Franklin. We hear about what he comes with. All right, ignore that. We as fans aren't in the building, so we don't have to deal with it. Let the admin deal with it, right? The guys that we know and love who went over from Radford to Virginia Tech, right? Those guys got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Let them deal with it. Just worry about the product on the field. I think he's going to turn that thing around over there.
Hey, Wayne gave you a little bit of advice for Monday. He says, Kion, stay away from the word nuts.
I will. I got a story for Wayne. If Wayne, DM me, I got a story for you. I said something on the air one time.
Whew.
And I got a lot of laughs and reactions on social media, but the people didn't like it too much. Just a joke, though. Yeah, I got
you're back on the air where you belong, brother. So I'm happy. Thrilled to death.
I appreciate you, man.
I almost fought them when they took you off the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Have fun against the Squirrels on Monday.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother. Take care, man. Be safe. I didn't expect to hear Mary Baldwin. Sorry. Keon's the best. Love that guy. Yeah, Mary Baldwin used to be all female. We're not making fun of Mary Baldwin at all. I mean, I just didn't expect to hear Mary Baldwin come out of his mouth. That's all. And now we found out that they're the Fighting Squirrels, so that makes it even, more intriguing. All right. Good stuff as always from KB. Be sure to check out Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James Lawson a call, 540-381-8011. Boogie Bowling Halloween night over at the NRB Super Bowl. They've been around for 25 years, 382-5525. They're the best. They're the best. Professional Door Incorporated. They're going to be hiring soon. We're going to have some announcements here. If you need a job and you want to work at a great company, we're going to tell you what you need to do. 38 years in business. They got the national Walmart account for those front doors. I mean, that's how good they are. And we're going to tell you about how you can have a career pretty soon if you really want to dedicate yourself. Thanks to National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST here on YouTube. Thanks to Lara Ramsey, the new president and CEO. She is great. The BDST fan question of the week from the attorney Ryan Pry. He's located on 701 West Main Street, Trust and Estate Planning. And the question we've asked is, do you think your sports are legitimate? And right now, most of you do, about 58% after what we found out about the NBA. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Each and every day we're brought to you by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Very honored. Again, that's my place. So it's great. It's great. Go see Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic, right off Pepper Spray Road, Christiansburg. All the latest technology. Travis Williams from Professional Door went there and said he's never felt better. So eventually we're going to get out there and film me getting popped back into place. And Family Fencing, the first folks who joined us here, sponsor of our studio, 540-200-8294, free quote. They have payment plans, and they're going to work through the winter. Go give Jason Green a call. And we have a new sponsor announcement, maybe two, actually. By the way, Monday, Marty Smith and Coach Ragsdale are back on Monday in hour 2. Got that confirmed yesterday evening. So we'll talk more about that. Prometheus, they're going to have national tournaments from all sorts of things coming here. You're going to have regional tournaments that have been held at other places coming to the New River Valley with this new mega sportsplex they have. You're going to have national events, outdoor sports like you see. You know how you used to talk about ESPN the Ocho and some of the sports they would have? Cycling championships, go-karting, things like that. They're going to come eventually to Pulaski County, and all the other surrounding areas are going to get involved. They already are involved. So what Jonathan Sweet's doing in Pulaski County is unifying all the recreation departments and everybody kind of getting together. It's going to bring all sorts of business and so forth. No, not the NCAA tournament. No, they're not building a new arena. But maybe they'll get some D3 stuff, NAIA stuff. Who knows? Sky's the limit for those folks. I don't put anything past Jonathan Sweet. That guy's as good as it gets. Yeah, fun day on Monday. Hey, thanks, Jason. Thanks for becoming a premium member. You can drop a couple bucks and help a guy out if you want, now that we've qualified for that by demolishing all of the YouTube required metrics to get to a certain level. So thank you. Thank you for that. Be sure to tell people to subscribe and like the channel. It's free. If one of you who subscribed does that, we'll get up to our 1,000 threshold and we'll have our 3-year window to stay on the air. Lingerie football. I hope so. Hokie Rocks. I hope so. I really hope so. You might have a new play-by-play opportunity. All right. Coming up a little bit later on, David Teel and Donny Lind. Thanks to KB joining us now. There he is. He is the Virginia Tech football beat writer for the Roanoke Times. Damien Sordelett. He might be covering lingerie football in Pulaski County. Good morning, DS. How are you?
Oh, boy. Man, that would be some. I don't think my wife would approve me covering that.
You and I could go up and broadcast. I mean, whatever you need to get the pressure off you would be fine.
Fine. Speaking of, first off, Rick, I want to say my condolences to your fiance's family.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sorry to hear that.
Appreciate
you and her have been in my prayers these last couple of days.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a tough time. Time. But this helps, being on here, talking to the peeps and talking to yourself. So, well, before we get into what I was told yesterday afternoon, let's go back to Friday. A win for Virginia Tech. They played. You've talked about how hard they played. They put themselves behind the 8 ball. The officials put them behind the 8 ball, but they still made plays in double overtime. Got to stop. Ran the football. pretty impressive performance, all things considered, last Friday.
Yeah, and in the process, disposed of some gremlins. Now that we're in the Halloween season, I was doing a deep dive on this yesterday. I think everyone knew that this was the first overtime win for Virginia Tech since that 6 overtime classic against UNC in 2019.
Right.
I didn't realize this was Virginia Tech's first win when trailing at overtime since the 2021 regular season finale against UVA.
Wow.
And it was the first time they had won when trailing by double digits at halftime since the 2016 Belk Bowl. Like,
wow. You're right. They exercised some things, didn't they?
Yeah, and they'd lost 21 straight games when trailing at halftime. So the fact that you came out of the gates and actually took a lead after halftime when trailing by double digits, that didn't happen under Brent Pry. The Hokies would get close, but they would never take the lead. So that was something different. The halftime adjustments were made up until Cal's scoring drive, which I don't know if we want to get into details of whether Ben Bell's that was the softest roughing the passer call we've ever seen.
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
it was. It was. Worst call I've seen. And the NFL has a lot of bad ones, a lot of ridiculous ones. But that one, I'm sitting there going, that might be the worst call. What are we even doing playing the game anymore if you're going to call that? That was, wow.
Yeah, Montgomery said yesterday that he inquired about it from the ACC, and they didn't agree with his assessment of
course.
Call.
Of course. Kept the game alive. Could have cost them the game. Could have cost them the football. Almost did after Cal scored first in overtime. I mean,
well, I want to put this out there. Cal was in the red zone, and Virginia Tech at that point had allowed 31 scores on 31 trips. So you're asking a defense that has not made a red zone stop all year to get a red zone stop. So I don't know that would have been a heck of a time to get the first one because that would have been all she wrote from it.
Yeah.
But, Tech had a chance to win it. John Love doinking a field goal. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, right? Didn't you just think, okay, it's done now, game over, right?
It's done. Tech just ran the ball down the field, got into field goal range. But, if you don't have the false start on, I think it was Altuner on that drive, cost them 5 yards. It's a 40-yard attempt instead of 45 yards. Maybe makes that. But again, you have so many things go wrong, especially with special teams. You give up a touchdown off a block punt. All these things happen, and you still find a way to win. I don't think Virginia Tech would have done that a year ago, much less at the beginning of the season. So
right.
Benji Gosnell said it right yesterday. It just shows how much this team has grown, and that's a good sign for Virginia Tech moving forward that you now have experienced something like this. And that's a good thing, especially when you're trying to find your way throughout the season.
Damien Sordelett joining us on the program. He is the terrific Virginia Tech football beat writer for the Roanoke Times. Hokies take some momentum into another home game against a different type of opponent, to say the least. Louisville's really, really good, extremely well coached. Jeff Brom is a terrific head coach. He's having fun in his alma mater. But, Tech might be able to do some things offensively. How do you see this one going? Hokies will be ready to go. They have been since Coach Montgomery took over. Yeah,
they'll be ready to go. But the problem that they have is that Louisville rediscovered its explosive play mentality against Boston College. I think it was 3 plays of 60-plus yards. They're now tied for 5th in the nation with 6 plays of 60-plus yards this year. Yeah. Isaac Brown, the running back, is responsible for 4 of them. His first 2 this year came against Eastern Kentucky in week 1. And then if you remember the James Madison game, he was hemmed up quite a bit and then ripped off that, I think it was like 78-yard touchdown run that got the ball rolling for the Cardinals. That was his last play of 60-plus yards, but he had 2 of them against BC. And, BC's not good by any means. But it just shows you, they're explosive. And I think everyone saw what Chris Bell could do in front of a national audience against Miami a couple of weeks ago with those 2 touchdown passes from Miller Moss. One of them was a quick route, and he just broke a couple tackles and took off. So this is a very different Louisville team. they're probably better than the 2023 team that beat Virginia Tech 34-3, which was arguably the worst loss under Pry prior to Old Dominion this year. So it's going to be tough. The defense is going to have to keep Isaac Brown contained and probably blanket Chris Bell. And then Colin Lacey is, one of, I think, 5 players in FBS with at least 2 punt return touchdowns. I might be telling Nick Velsistis coffin corner this thing and have it go out of bounds every time you punt it.
Yeah, sure.
To prevent him from getting a return.
No, you're right. Think about that. That was the worst football game I think I've ever seen a Tech team play. That game at Louisville, they were not in any way, shape, or form competitive. And I'm not even games that they've been upset in. At least at certain points, they're competitive. But boy, you're right. That may have been the first true sign that this wasn't going to work out. If you already didn't believe it wasn't going to work out, that got you on board. You're right. That was horrible. That Louisville game, few years ago.
But Tech turned it around after that, and I know there's a lot of promise going into 2024, but hindsight being 2020, I mean that Louisville game should have been the sign of, really good teams. I mean, Tech did get up from Miami the following year and should have won that game. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Jeff Brom, like you mentioned, is an excellent coach. And I mentioned this to Philip Montgomery before the press conference started yesterday. I was like, hey, do you remember the only time you two have been on the sideline? And that was the 2010 Texas Bowl when Brom was the quarterbacks coach at Illinois and Montgomery was the OC at Baylor. And he's like, I had no clue he was on the sideline. I just remember their quarterback diced us up. And I'm like, it was our freshman quarterback who diced you up too. So Brom has been good with quarterbacks ever since, his first job at Illinois. So, and Miller Moss is no exception. He is really good. Not sure. I mean, I can understand why he lost the job at USC. Mayala is really good. But Moss is, he was playing well there, and he's just taken a step forward this year.
He has with Brom. Yeah, it's been a perfect marriage there. No doubt about it. All right, so I thought about you a lot yesterday afternoon. It's so weird. I don't have Damien's phone number. I was going to text you. I was like, I don't have that. I have to email. We got to fix that. I got to give you my anyway. I heard from 2 sources yesterday, and you were the first one to say it, so I'm going to credit where it's due. It's looking more and more like James Franklin's going to be the new head football coach in Blacksburg. I have a Big Ten source that reached out to me that he's never been wrong about anything he's told me. He had all the realignment things right a few years ago. He's telling me about the future of things, and it's like, wow, it happens. So it looks like we're getting close to the finish line. Could be an announcement here 3 or 4 days. And you were on this early. You said he was your top candidate. You said, hey, this is why it would take Tech to a different type of level. I was told that has been one of their focuses. They reached out, and then when Bruce and Bud got to know him a little better and talked to him, they were just blown away. They want to make a move now because they know he's not going to be on the market long because of all these jobs. And there's a lot of other jobs that these agents already know are coming open. So they start already positioning behind the scenes. He's not interested in LSU. He's not interested in going to the SEC. Brent Pry, I think, has helped a lot. He's here. They're close. Tell him what a great place this is. And I think you're going to be right, my friend, from what I was told yesterday, that we're going to hear an announcement here soon. Congratulations. They'll give you the credit.
Sometimes this idiot sports writer gets something right every once in a while.
But I did. I wanted to call you, and I was like, I don't have his number. I can't.
I didn't have any inside info. It just made too much sense for Virginia Tech not to make him the priority because he recruits this area, and he's probably going to bring a really good staff with him if you consider some of the pieces from Penn State. I'm thinking, first and foremost, bring Anthony Poindexter back to the Commonwealth as your safeties coach, and maybe a co-DC title, which he currently has. That would help shore up your recruiting in the area. It fits everything. And I know Brian Kelly's on the market, but James Franklin's the top guy on the market right now. And
right now, you're right. You're on the market right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, he fits the area. And he mentioned something on College Game Day. And this kind of got me thinking.
Yeah.
He has a daughter who's a senior in high school that was planning on going to Penn State because her dad was coaching there. I'm thinking you get her on a trip to Blacksburg. She's, I think, around the same age as Brent Pry's oldest daughter, so they might be friends because they spent so many years together. Now all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm going to Virginia Tech. Why don't you come to Virginia Tech with me? That's probably a bigger selling point to James Franklin than the job and the opportunity to get Virginia Tech back to the top of the ACC like that. I mean, the two campuses are very similar.
They
both
are
in remote areas. They're both
been there
very
many times. Yeah,
and they're both in great communities. I mean, that's a good selling point. And if Franklin's like, oh, she wants to come here to Virginia Tech. If she wants to come here as a student, that should be a great selling point that I should be here to be the football coach. And so hopefully, whoever's behind the scenes on the committee that's gotten to know Franklin saying, all right, here's the plan for how we want to invest in the football program. Here's the plan for the athletic department, how everything's structured. Hopefully Franklin has all of that in mind now. So that way he's coming in and understanding, it's going to work. It's not official. I'm not saying it's official yet.
No,
I'm just saying,
no, we're not. We're not.
I'm just saying right now, the smoke's starting to get a little bit thicker when it comes to that. Who knows what could happen if, say, Wisconsin's a job he wants, and they come out and say, "Well, Luke Fickell's here for the rest of the year, and then we're moving on."
Sure,
that could be something that moves the needle.
He could change it. Yeah, you could go to Jimmy Sexton and say, "All right, hang on, don't sign yet." And that's why I think Tech wants to get this done now.
I agree.
I was told yesterday. Yeah,
and you can work on the recruiting class, and there's 15 commits in Penn State's class right now. 4 offensive linemen. If you want to bring in some more offensive linemen, there's some linebackers, and they have some really good safeties in the boat.
Yeah,
wouldn't hurt.
He's going to bring players with him. Yeah, there's no question. No question.
Yeah, this roster is going to get flipped in a good way.
Immediately.
And then you keep the pieces that you see work, like keep a Noah Chambers, keep your safeties in Johnson and Robinson, keep Krim, find guys who you're like, all right, we can build around these guys. Find them, keep them, bring in an infusion of talent from Penn State, guys who are like, okay, yeah, let's get to work there. Tech's got to do some work. I could see something happening during next week's open week with it happening.
Correct. See, that's and you see, you're right on what he said. They thought about Friday, but you got a game. Let's let these kids and Coach Frank let Coach have his game, and then going into another bye. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it could work. And I don't know what that means for the future of the rest of the athletic department. I haven't heard anything. So QB would be a good thing to have. I'm sure Penn State's got a few of them that are wanting to get in the fold. So it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. Keegan-Michael Key. That would be nice for a spring game.
Good.
To get some comedy in that.
Yeah. And folks, again, this is not official. This is information I was given. Nothing's official until you hear Virginia Tech Athletics will address the future of its football program coming up on Monday. When you hear that, you'll know that it's true. I'm just telling you, Damien was saying that was the thing he thought was going to be a natural thing. And sure enough, I was told yesterday, Big Ten source, and I got another source closer to Tech, that this is about to happen. They're now actually at the point of talking to Jimmy Sexton. So I think it's going to happen. My indications are it's going to happen. My source up there has never been wrong in the Big Ten about anything. So no, nothing's official. We're not saying it's official, but we can share with you intel. That's what I try to do. Not trying to get ahead of anybody. I'm not that guy. I don't care. I'm just telling you that I feel really good about the information I was given yesterday. That's all. So
yeah, and I mean, Pete, what is it? Pete Nakos from On3. he mentioned, Franklin, and then he had heard a lot about Bob Chesney. I don't know if he watches this podcast and hears myself, Teel, and Andy talk to you about Chesney all the time the last few weeks. But yeah, Franklin just makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, open week, it gives Franklin 3 weeks to assess the current roster, gives him time to build out the
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah, if he's available, do it. And I know Sexton probably was like, I want to get a bidding war with whatever other schools come open. But if Franklin's set on Virginia Tech, might as well go ahead, tell Virginia Tech, hey, you're going to have suitors coming up the line for Franklin here at the end of the season. You might as well make an offer now that would be comparable. And definitely before this, I know there's a congressman who's presenting the Coaches Act, which would cap coach salary. So you're like, hey, might as well get you the money now before Congress comes in. And I don't think Congress would ever pass this because it's taken them forever for everything else. Get your money now before they put a cap on this, which, again, I don't think that's going to happen because Congress is taking forever, and besides, they're not even open right now. So,
of course they are. Of course they're taking forever. Well, I think it would change the trajectory of an athletic department. It would instill a lot of confidence. I don't, like you said too, to your point, who knows what it's going to mean for the power structure. It's bizarre still to me that it's setting up the way that it is. He's not going to answer to anybody other than one person, and that's going to ultimately probably be the president, unless they get somebody. I can't imagine them hiring an AD for football and all of a sudden James Franklin's got to – no. So he's going to be his own boss, and he's going to come in here. Now let me ask you this. Here's the other part. Let's play devil's advocate. We still know there had to be some reason other than certain big game failures that Penn State said we had to get him out of here to the point, and big donors wanted him out of here. $50 million, we'll figure it out. Get him out of here. So you do have that aura coming with him. What caused them to do that? What was going on there behind the scenes? So I know he's got a massive ego. He's going to make jobs like for me and you probably pretty difficult. Hopefully he'll find some humility. How much of a concern do you think that is, or you think that's maybe could be overblown?
I think it's overblown. I mean, if you win, so what? I mean,
yeah, and I think that's what Tech fan. I think ultimately that's what it'll be. Yeah.
I don't know if it was this podcast or if it was another one where we're talking about coaches' shelf life these days, and it's like at 10 years. And or something, you don't have coaches that stay with a program for 20 to 30 years anymore. It's like you get to a point and it's like, all right, gone.
Right.
So it might run his course. He could have potentially lost the locker room, something I've heard. But, I mean, the fact that Penn State didn't turn things around immediately after might say something that, maybe they just something happened and they're just not as good as everyone projected them to be this year, myself included. I had Penn State in the top 5 of the preseason AP poll.
Yeah.
Actually, I had them number 2 behind Ohio State. Even the fact that they were playing a really soft schedule to begin the year, and then all of a sudden they nearly beat Oregon, and then 2 weeks later Franklin's fired after losses to UCLA and Northwestern. I think if he's got the drive to coach and he can take this time to reflect and see, okay, this is what I maybe did wrong, this is what I should change, I think that helps. I don't know if he had a GM, Paul, at Penn State.
He did. I just looked it up. Yeah, his name was Andy Frank, and he oversaw all aspects of the recruiting department and had a long history. They were together at Vanderbilt, so I believe Andy Frank will be the new general manager of Virginia Tech's football program, and I think that would be an outstanding move. He followed him from Vandy to Penn State. He's going to follow him from Penn State to Tech.
Yeah, and I think in Witt's interview, I think came out before Franklin got fired. Yeah, it did. So, and this is probably why, slowing down the GM search pays off, because if you're hiring a GM and Franklin wants to bring his guy with him, that might have stopped the negotiations in their tracks for getting him to Blacksburg. So now that he can bring his GM, and they can build out the staff the way they see fit, not only the coaching staff, but build out the entire recruiting department, build out anything else you need to. That's a big thing for Virginia Tech, and that's a big thing for Franklin too. So he essentially has this mold of clay in the Virginia Tech football program, and they're saying you can sculpt it in however you want to see fit.
Yeah. That would be something Tech fans should be very excited about. Somebody who's already worked and had success with both places. I mean, now you don't have to worry about any speculation about that. No search for a GM. This is my guy. If I'm going to come there, he's my guy. Okay, hey, coach. We did it at Radford. I know it's a much different thing. Hired Coach Chu. I have a guy. I'd like to hire my own GM. Of course, bring him in. He did. So, and they've been working lockstep. It has to happen that way. It always has to be the coach first. And so, yeah, it's going to be a new day. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, it has to happen, folks. It's not happened. We're not saying it's happened. Strong indications are it's going to happen. That's all.
Yeah, if the fact that Rick's hearing this and then the message board guys at 247 are hearing this, that means there's some smoke coming out. And it's just going to be getting to the finish line. And it's just like with recruiting. You got to get them to the finish line.
That's exactly right.
You got to get them to the finish line. And so with Franklin,
that's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. Yeah.
If you can get him to the finish line without someone coming in and flipping him at the last minute.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It is. That's a great analogy. Hey, this guy's a heavy lean. He's going to commit today. Wait a minute. We don't have his letter yet. What's going on? Oh, he signed with Texas A&M? That's true. That's true.
And I don't know if this contract's going to be anywhere close to what Signetti's making. So Wayne, any info?
Good question.
I was talking to a couple people, and they were saying that there might be some movement later this month. I don't know if that's true or not, but Witt's the one who's probably has been facilitating the move with Sexton, because Witt said he's going to help with the agents because none of the other guys had responsibilities with that. So probably once Franklin went on the market after he got fired from Penn State, Witt was probably on the horn with Sexton and getting some feelers out, and then that probably facilitated the committee meeting with him. And this is one of those where if the committee's on board with it, I think you go straight to Rakovich and say, all right, we need the money. Give us the dollar figure.
That makes perfect sense. There's nobody there to do it. I think you said it. Teel said it here. There's nobody to do it. Let him deal with that side of it, and then he's going to step on and make his announcement that he's no longer the AD. Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and then Witt can set the blueprint for how you want the athletic department shaped, and okay, we need this funded, we need to revamp the Hokie Club, we need to do this, and this. And if that's if your last acts as athletic director are to get $250 million for over a 4-year stretch, and then help with the process of hiring James Franklin and getting the athletic department set up, that's a pretty good note to go out on.
Not a bad consolation prize for missing on 2 football coaches. You're right. I didn't think about that, but you're right.
And if Franklin works out, everyone's thoughts of Whit Babcock down the line will change dramatically.
It will.
My colleague Mark Berman, he talked to fans before the Cal game, and a lot of them said, we're not going to up our donations until we know who the football coach is. And many of them said Franklin would help increase donations. And then some were split on Witt. One of them said he should have been gone the same day as Pry, if not beforehand. And then there was someone who played devil's advocate and said, look what he's done with hiring for all these other sports and elevating them. And his thing was, show some grace to Witt for, handling all that. I think both statements can be true at the same time. You can applaud him for all the work he's done in the other sports, but also be critical of him for the fact that football has regressed during his time here. But again, if this is his swan song, not a bad way to go out at all. No. If this happens to be it, we don't.
If all this happens to be it, correct.
He signed through June 30th, 2029. We already know they're going to have to replace John Boleyn, who's retiring June 30th of 2026 when his contract expires. He's already made it known that he was not going to resign, and he was getting out of the business. So, yeah. I mean,
yeah. Well, we'll see. And to Damien's point, by the way, 247's talking about this as if it's already happened. You're right.
I'll say this. Evan Watkins did say, he didn't say this was happening yet, but he did say there's a lot of movement.
Yeah.
And it sounds very similar.
Very similar. Yeah.
Very similar. Like Virginia Tech, on their end, they've kept this pretty buttoned up. So we'll see. I do think if you're hearing this, he's hearing this. I heard some rumblings. If we're starting to hear this, that means something's coming down the pike. And
agreed.
And Virginia Tech can get this done next week. Give Franklin 3 weeks to assess the team and get on the road recruiting. That would be a big thing.
It would be. Well, we'll all be watching with our popcorn, and we appreciate you as always, brother. Enjoy the game on Saturday, and hey, who knows? This conversation next week maybe it's a totally different vibe to it if all this gets done.
Oh yeah, there might be a lot coming, a lot of stuff, and I've heard some donor wanted to put a smokestack at Merriman to.
Yeah, that's what somebody was just. Yeah.
Instead of at Burris, do it at Merriman to say when a new football coach is coming. Though with the way things are going, you might need it at Burris if you need to get a new president, depending on depending on how the administration's feeling one way or the other.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, man. And thanks again for the well wishes, brother. Appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
Rick.
You got it, man. Care. There you go. Great stuff from Damien Sordelett. Hey, Damien was first, man. He came on the show weeks ago and said that would be slam dunk. That's the guy that they should go after. And it looks like that's going to happen. So we'll see. And I just made the reference about being able to sit back with your popcorn and watch. Well, now, if all this comes to fruition and they get this done and there's an announcement, Tech fan, you can all, just like Tech administration and the committee and everybody else, you can take a deep breath and you can just sit back with your popcorn as all these other schools scramble, as all these other jobs come open, all these things that you don't have to be involved in because you have your guy. You know what a benefit that's going to be on every level. Think about that for a second. You're going to have your head coach who likely would have been off the market immediately if other schools, were open, potential other places could officially open. I'm a little surprised to see that goes back to the whole Florida State, Wisconsin not making an announcement now. Maybe they had no interest, and maybe early on they found out from Jimmy Sexton that James Franklin had no interest in Tallahassee or in Wisconsin. Who knows? We don't know. So there's so much behind the scenes we don't know that we're never going to know. But these things take on a life of their own. And if he has indicated just what Damien said, if he has indicated that this is where he wants to be, then it's the agent's job to facilitate the deal that, is going to bring out the most money. I don't know I think it's going to be a lot higher than 8 to 10 million. I don't know how much higher. I think we're probably looking more of the 10 to 12 side. We're going to go over that apex from that original announcement that Witt made when all the money was approved. I think Tech's going to enter the big boy realm of paying a coach. They have to, if that's what they want to do. They could have stayed within that 8 million range probably for a John Sumrall or an Alex Golish or a Bob Chesney. But I'm just saying it makes sense on so many levels if this is the guy you've honed in on. And I said this a few weeks ago because I reported to you, the same source in the Big Ten. This guy's, folks, I'll never be able to tell you who it is because it's a relationship I had with him before he became a big shot in administration at an upper level Big Ten school. But he said, hey, tell people in Blacksburg not to worry because Bruce Arians and Bud Foster are getting great reaction from everyone that they're reaching out to. And not just relationships with coaches, with the agents. Massive respect, especially Bruce Arians. And at that point I went, all right, then this is going to be just fine. This would be just fine. They're going to be just fine. And how many times have I come on here and said this? Now, if this happens, I won't take credit for it. But I'm just saying, I have said, folks, I have no hesitation to tell you Tech's going to get a good football coach. All right? Paul says Sheeler can start running the Brent Pry commercials again that ran 2 weeks. Don't know, Wayne. We'll find that out. PSU get credit for salary and buyout. Yes, my assumption would be yes. Tebow. Sorry, that's a Seinfeld reference. T-Bone. Oh, the George T-Bone episode. Oh, my goodness. What'd they end up calling him? Coco? Coco the monkey. James Franklin will be an absolute home run hire. There's your splash hire if it happens. Correct. Told you early on what I'd heard from this source and others. Tech felt a little pressure after what happened with Brent Pry to have more of a name. Other coaches would come in here and kill it too. Does this change? A lot of people on the professional door text lines, does this change your – no, I still think they should go and get the duo from James Madison. Doesn't change it at all. I told you that a couple of weeks ago, if I were making the decision, but I'm not, and I guess they can't afford to, and if they had this similar interest and they really like James Franklin, then good. But, yes, I would have went down to Harrisonburg and offered Bob Chesney, Matt Rohn, the AD, and offers they couldn't refuse to come and just take over the program. Anybody watch JMU last night go on the road and score 52? That program's rolling, man. Bob Chesney's going to be tough to keep. Matt Rohn knows this. That's true. We do know a real estate agent. Louise Baker's out there. She'll know. She'll know. She might have some inside information. Whomever, and I believe they all will have power jobs after this cycle. Whomever gets John Sumrall, who, by the way, they loved, still love, Bruce and Bud, the Tulane head coach. Alex Golish, who they love. I don't know if they love Bob Chesney or not. I haven't gotten much feedback from that. But I believe full throttle that this is going to be a situation that they're all comfortable with. But all those guys are going to get jobs. Every one of them are going to get power jobs. So, everyone. Morris says the biggest home run hire is the lift out. There are many players on that PSU roster in this footprint that probably wanted to come to Tech, or at least Tech was their second choice. Correct. And a source yesterday told me that there's going to be a big exodus of players that's going to follow him. What Damien said is correct, that the roster is going to be flipped head over heels, man, in a good way. You just got to let it happen. Don't worry about it. If there are players deemed that they want to be here with the new money, they will work hard to keep them here. But if all this ends up being true and you make that kind of investment, you just have to let him come in and do. He's in charge of the whole thing. And I got to be honest, I do have my reservations about it for the reasons that we've talked about. There's a reason Penn State let him go. But when I read this about this GM, Andy Frank, that makes me feel a little better about the whole thing. Because if that, and I don't know if that's, he's going to come, but it feels like he's following him everywhere. Yes, Tebow, that will happen. There'll be Penn State players that will come with. Yes. 100%. And that's another aspect of this. You're going to shore up a lot of the recruiting in the state. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And you're going to have a guy who knows that he's got money now to go out in the portal and do what he needs to there. Finding a quarterback is going to be key. That's something he's been very criticized for at Penn State. Very criticized for. That has to be better here. Yeah, the NIL, you hear about all that money, a large amount of dollars are going to be focused on football NIL, as it is everywhere else. Again, Tech is starting to act now, get to the realm of a big boy football program in the modern age. Frank Beamer turned them into a big boy program. They lost their way. Now they're getting back to the range of becoming a big boy program in the current environment of NIL and roster building. And if this hire does indeed unfold and it's announced, then boom, I think you're going to see a lot of traction. But I still have my concerns about why this all happened the way that it happened. That's all. Yeah. So I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Chesney has 3 different moving van company trucks sitting around the corner of his house so they can announce first when that new program's announced. Maybe because he's in the state and we know all about JMU and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But how can some of these programs not just be all over Bob Chesney right now? Do you see how well prepared that team was last night? He's going to be a relative steal financially for somebody when he upgrades. Let's just put it that way. You know what it feels like? And I know it's the same school. It feels like Curt Cignetti all over again. It does. He's now the best coach in the country. I say that with the utmost confidence. Curt Cignetti is the best college football coach in the country. He was at James Madison. He wanted to talk to Virginia Tech. That should make your blood boil, Tech fan. That should make your blood boil. But hey, Cignetti's so good. And by the way, I had to work Saturday, even after we got the horrible news about Janet's mom. I had to go call a game. Don't get me started. And the time I left here, the UCLA-Indiana game was just starting. The time I pulled in to Cup Stadium down at Radford, it was already 28-0. Indiana and UCLA had won 3 in a row. Remember when I talked about how he broke down their 3-0 record, and he knew all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Their yards, what it means to a team that wins 3 in a row, and how he didn't care at all about anything that happened before. Since they made the coaching change, they're 3-1 overall. They'd won 3 in a row. They just beat, 2 Big Ten teams and that are good, blah, blah. When he paid that much attention, I was like, this is going to just be an absolute bloodbath. What was the final? 56-6. It reminded me of when Villanova and Radford played in the first round of the NCAA tournament after we got there out of the first 4. And I told you I had the pregame interview with Jay Wright, and he knew every Radford player. He knew how many points they scored, and he even knew the minutes of our starters. And I walked out of there going, Mike Ashley and Neil Leahy were, we were all there together in Pittsburgh. And they walked out, hey, how'd it go? I said, oh, he was great. I said, we're going to get absolutely destroyed tomorrow. Why is that? Well, he knew exactly how many minutes Carlik Jones and Travis Fields Jr. played. Right? So, yeah. I'm going to let David know, by the way, that the invite's been sent. So, yeah. 3-Eyed Raven. I'm 24 years old. You think I could beat you in boxing? I don't know. Have you boxed before? 3-Eyed Raven. Have you ever fought before? If you've been trained and you fought before at 24, then yes, you could beat me at 55. I did it for 7 years. If you haven't, I don't care how young you are, and you don't know how to fight, then no. How's that? But if you fought, yeah, at 24, especially since I, separated my shoulder a couple years ago, I can't really, yeah. Anyway. He will lose that quarterback. Yeah, he's good, but, he's gotten really good since he got with Chesney, too. He'll find others wherever he goes. It's a good problem for JMU. They're always going to be, let's say that if Chesney leaves and Matt Roan stays, he'll find another good coach. I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's hired great coaches. Nichols, EKU, and he'll do the same. But yeah, he'll be fine. Tech fan, if all this happens, and I think most of you will come around and be happy about James Franklin if it's announced. You're going to sit back and watch these other jobs. You go, wow, look how much worse it could have been. Look, you could have been involved in all that. Like, I don't know what LSU and Florida is going to do. Arkansas, LSU is just a powder keg, man. It's just, is Lane Kiffin going to want to leave Ole Miss where he could stay and never have to have any job security issues, make all the money he's ever going to want? Or do you want to take that job where you let the governor get involved, apparently, and you look at the amount of coaches that have won there, that have been let go there? I put up the graphic on the BDST Facebook page. I don't know when I put it up. It was right after Brian Kelly got fired. Yeah, here you go. LSU's coaches in their first 4 years. Nick Saban, 39-13, won the SEC, won a Natty. Les Miles went 42-11, was let go. He won an SEC and a Natty. Ed Orgeron went 40-9, won an SEC and a Natty. And you had Brian Kelly, 34-14, never won an SEC title and is not going to win a Natty. So, yeah, absolutely. All right. Joining us now on the program, we always win a Natty when David Teel joins us here on the program. Good morning, DT. How are you, brother?
Good morning, Rick.
A lot potentially could happen later in the week in Blacksburg with all the scuttlebutt going on. We'll see. But how was your weekend, man? I know you had a great back-to-back weekend of covering games.
Not a lot of sleep involved when you arrived at your Roanoke hotel shortly before 3 a.m. and then you're up and at 'em at about 5:15 to get ready and get on the road to Chapel Hill for yet another overtime game. So, yeah, it was quite the weekend, and good on the Hokies and the Cavaliers for finding a way to survive.
Yeah, you didn't have that in your bingo card, did you? Back-to-back OT games, right?
Well, with Virginia, I should have expected it by this point. And a little bit of symmetry, Virginia is only the second team in ACC history ever to win 3 overtime games in a single season, joining the 2012 Hokies.
Hey, there you go. Wow. See, that's David Teel for you folks. Wow. Interesting. Well, let's do Friday first because it comes in the chronological order.
Okay.
Crazy game. Tech jumped out. They fell behind. People were leaving. Weird.
Oh, a whole lot of people.
But they ran for over 350 yards and some really just mystifying officiating calls. They survived it and got the dub in double overtime. And Phil Montgomery continues to do great things with these kids and their dedication to the rest of the season. The
shirtless dudes in the end zone didn't leave.
They did. It was great. That was great.
Remarkable. Man, they must have been well lubricated is all I can say. Because it was cold. It was in the 30s when we walked over to the Merriman Center post game. But yeah, good on Tech. They're at several junctures you just thought, okay, it's not meant to be. And you reference the officiating, the roughing the passer call was just egregious. And not egregious on Ben Bell's part, but egregious on the official's part. And Rick, it was so bizarre because I was watching, for whatever reason, I had my binoculars on that play. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I'm focused on the quarterback. And I watched it in real time. And the referee, how sometimes they're very emphatic and they throw that flag with conviction. And that referee just kind of casually went in his back pocket and dropped it. And I'm like, you're not sure about this. You're trying to convince yourself. And then you watch on replay and you're like, what the heck? But they somehow, and then John Love joints the field goal. We can go through the litany of things that transpired where you thought, okay, it's not going to be their night. They're either too snake bit or too mistake prone. But they figured it out. They ran the ball darn near 60 times for well over 300 yards. Ran option, ran a lot of Kyron drones and a lot of Marcellus Hawkins, and great blocking on the perimeter by tight ends and wide outs, and got it done.
That's right, they did, and Phil Montgomery got pretty emotional after the game. It shows you how invested he is into finishing the season the right way, and
he truly is, and that's. And he is invested, and clearly the staff is too.
Yeah,
and as are the players, and it's a different era, Rick. Much like we always say, college football is embracing a professional model. Well, in this regard, it is like the pros, because Virginia Tech guys, depending on who the new coach is and what they're playing for their next contract.
That's
literally true. At Virginia Tech or somewhere else, they're putting stuff on tape that other coaches are going to look at when it comes to evaluating talent in the off season. So it behooves these young people. If they aspire to the NFL, it's a business. Well, so is college football. And what's good for business is to play your backside off no matter the circumstance.
That's right. That's a great point. David Teel joining us on the program. It's all about, and that's on their minds. That's on their minds. How am I going to get a deal? Maybe here, depending on, but somewhere else, somebody noticed me, get something. You're right. So that's played into a lot of this effort, I think. But you have to have a coach that turns that back on. And he's gonna, if it's not gonna be here, but he's gonna land somewhere and make a program very happy. I don't know in what role, whether it'll be a head coach. He could be again. Why not? But he'll he'll be somewhere that's going to be very beneficial for him after this effort he's given, I think.
Yeah, Philip Montgomery's put it on tape too.
Absolutely.
And this team is playing for him. Whatever message he is voicing is resonating. And also, Rick, the sideline game management, it's pretty buttoned up. It's never perfect, and not even the best coaches are perfect on the sideline. It's the heat of the moment. None of us could approach perfection in those stressful circumstances. But man, he's pretty good on that sideline now.
He is. Well, going to your Saturday, amazing how many people I heard from on the text line. Virginia can't be that good. I'm like, well, hang on. Let's think about it. You go on the road in conference play. It's the toughest thing to do. I don't care who you're playing. It's a different vibe. They're winning all these games, as you referenced. Sometimes maybe you are pretty good. You may not be blowing teams out, but you're not panicking in these tight situations, and you're making plays that you have to win. A lot of times I think teams get dinged for that by fans and prognosticators, but I don't look at it that way. I think Tony Elliott's got this team. You mentioned buttoned up. When they get in a situation where it's crucial, they're responding, and I think that says a heck of a lot about where that program is this season.
No question, especially given that, as at many places, this is a completely flipped roster from last season. So you've brought in this disparate group who has no connection to one another, essentially, and you've forged them into an actual team where they believe in one another, they believe in the staff, they believe in the schematics, and when it gets to overtime or the last 2 minutes of a half, they have a confidence about them, and it shows. Now, are there issues? 100% there are issues, especially on the offensive side. They are playing with fire here these last few weeks, and they got to get it corrected. They're not running the ball as well. Chandler Morris is clearly not right. The left shoulder is giving him fits and is going to really the rest of the season. It's just a matter of pain tolerance.
Right.
Does it catch up with them? Does it catch up with them at Cal? Could be. That's this week. Then they come home next week and play Wake. And by the way, the Deacons have won 5 games. Jake Dickert is doing a fabulous job, and they are, if not the best, clearly one of the top 3 defenses in the ACC. And you put them against a struggling Virginia offense, and that game a week Saturday night in Charlottesville all of a sudden gets very curious and much more interesting than I think any one of us would have anticipated a month ago.
Yeah, you talk about a program that just has gotten it right. 3 straight hires with Jim Grove. You've talked about it. What they did with Clawson, and now this kid from comes in from Washington State, and they're extremely well coached. He is wow. A lot of programs, high programs that need coaches now, going to be a lot more. Should look at Wake and say, what are they doing? Well, they're just hiring the right people for their program because they have a great self-identity, don't they? Down in which they know exactly what they are and who they can get, and they go get them.
Right, and they have some resources. Now, they don't have SEC resources or even top-end ACC resources, but they've got a donor base in Winston-Salem that is very well heeled and very supportive of the Deacons. And we've talked about this before, Rick. You walk into that football complex, they've got it going on from an infrastructure facility standpoint, much more so than the Hokies. And, the conventional wisdom is, well, the bells and whistles and the buildings don't matter as much anymore. And I think to a large degree that's true. But if you're a prospect going to Winston-Salem and considering Wake Forest, the Deacons have to differentiate themselves somehow because they're not going to be able to offer as much money from a salary standpoint as the others. And what that complex, that facility screams to folks is we care and we are invested. So it'll be interesting. You're already hearing Jake Dickert's name being floated for other jobs because
Yeah.
It's going to be such a crazy cycle.
It is. And I got some really good intel yesterday that Tech may be out of this cycle sooner than later, which would be very advantageous to them if they can just sit back like everybody else and watch more and more jobs coming open. That they're going to finally play big boy football with a guy like James Franklin could potentially be coming around the corner here very soon. And if something like that happens, and it is that name, what does this indicate to Tech fans, right? You're going to have a lot of Tech fans who are going to just immediately just kind of sit there and go, wow, they were serious when they said that Bruce Arians and Bud Foster were going to go out and find themselves a good football coach.
Well, yeah, I mean, if Virginia Tech was able to land James Franklin, it would, there would be huge headlines. I'm a little skeptical that James Franklin is going to agree to a job right away, simply because James Franklin and his agent, Jimmy Sexton, are going to have options. And I wonder if they're going to take themselves off the market so early and take away leverage that they would have with Virginia Tech or Florida or whoever else they might think would be interested. Now, would it benefit Tech if they could lock somebody up? If they were convinced that this person was right for the job, sure, you can start the recruiting of your own locker room, and re-recruiting the high school commits, although it's going to be a small class anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'd still be surprised if this is some kind of October or early November hiring, but I've been surprised before.
Well, let's talk about your alma mater a little bit, because it seems like to me that Bob Jesse's going to be tough to keep in Harrisonburg. I watched that team. I think they're the best team in the state. They went down there to Texas, and we had Matt Rohn on last week, and he was very concerned about that trip. They had back-to-back tough road games, and look, that's not an easy place to play. I know we got to be – and I tell you what, man, they were so well prepared. 52 points on the road in a conference game. That guy is just – he's going to make some bigger school very happy. And I hope for JMU's sake it's not sooner than later. But, man, oh, man, they got it going on in Harrisonburg.
Rick, a fourth consecutive second half shutout last night. It's like nothing you've ever seen.
No.
And I wrote down the numbers this morning, so excuse me for looking over here at my notes.
No.
I don't have them memorized. 4 consecutive second half shutouts, 90-0 in the second half in those 4 games, including 24-0 last night. It was 28-20 at intermission, and the Dukes win 52-20. And then during this 6-game winning streak, the second half aggregate is 125-10.
Wow.
In the second half. It's stupid. I mean, what they're doing after intermission. That is coaching, that is confidence, that is just wearing out your opponent. And after an early season in which he was clearly still getting his sea legs back after the November ACL, Alonzo Barnett has arrived. And he accounted for 6 touchdowns and more than 400 yards against Old Dominion week prior. And then last night he accounted for 5 touchdowns and more than 300 yards total offense. And oh, by the way, in both games, he was turnover free.
If they could have hung on in the fourth quarter at Louisville, this would be a whole different national story surrounding James Madison. And it's a shame because they stood toe-to-toe with a very good Louisville team who embarrassed Miami. And, boy, I would like to have gone back and be able to say, hey, they won that football game, because I would like to see them get the flowers they deserve from other people who still don't know what James Madison's about.
Well, clearly, Rick, they're the odds-on favorite to host the Sun Belt Championship game on that first Friday in December. I think folks will get an eyeful there. They've got they got 4 games remaining, including a non-conference against Washington State. Their remaining league opponents are App State. The trip to Marshall, I think, is probably the trickiest. Maybe the season finale at Coastal kind of remains to be seen. But they are not out of the CFP conversation. I mean, conventional wisdom, and I think rightfully so, says the American champion will end up getting the Group of 5 playoff bid. But if there's some, if the Americans just start beating one another and the losses mount, then might there be a chance for a 12-1 James Madison to get into the playoff field?
Yeah, sure. I hope they do. I hope they get the chance like Liberty did. And I don't care what happened against Oregon. They were there in the game, man. And I just want JMU to be there in the game and have a chance. That's all I want for them. But very impressive, man. So where are you this week? What are you doing this week? Basketball starting next week? You got football all over the place? My goodness.
Yeah, I'll be in Blacksburg Saturday for Louisville, Virginia Tech, and then Monday night I'll be in Charlottesville to see Ryan Odom's debut.
That'll be fun. What a great
I'm not sure the game will be any good, but since it's Ryan's first game, go up there and take his pulse.
Do you like that better? Would you like being basketball because you're more part of it as opposed to at a football game? I know they're different. You like both, but is there one you prefer after all these years of doing it?
There's less traffic in basketball and the games are shorter.
That's true. That's a resounding yes. Well, great stuff, brother, as always, man. Thanks for your time, and we'll see what all we're talking about next week, man. Stay safe in your travels. Have fun on Saturday here in Blacksburg.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, David. There you go. Teel joined us, the Hall of Fame. Games are shorter. Yeah, good answer. Hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line and also on our BDST text line. Brought to you by Professional Door. Donny Lind scheduled to join us, the head basketball coach at Mount St. Mary's. Professional Door, residential, commercial garage doors, 38 years. We're going to get some intel about the jobs they're looking for to fill. Gives you a great opportunity for a new career, working for great people. Travis Williams and that crew up there, my goodness. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST. The attorney, Ryan Pry, our BDST fan question of the week. How much of what you're watching do you think is legitimate? Right now, almost 60% say you still think it is, despite all the gambling things that have come out in the last week. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. We're presented every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. We want to thank them and for all the great things that they're doing, not only in Pulaski County, but at the surrounding areas in the New River Valley and beyond. McClellan Chiropractic, we just mentioned it, Mark Hundley in our chat line. Family Fencing Studios, 540-200-8294. Give Jason Green a call. They're going to be working through the winter. Doesn't matter the weather. They're going to be there to give you all the protection and privacy that you want with your fencing. Finance options available, locally owned and operated. Go see James Lawson Mobile Homes in Christiansburg. They've been doing it a long time, since 1997. 540-381-8011. Thanks to all the folks at the NRV Super Bowl. They've been around for 25 years. Boogie Bowling coming up on Halloween. $40 per lane, 382-5525. You should buy your next vehicle at Harvey's Gym in Radford. I bought my last 3 there. They are outstanding. So I think that's something that you need to do. Don't forget Chamber of Commerce Day from Montgomery County. Chamber is coming up this Saturday, Lane Stadium, Tech in Louisville at 3 o'clock. You can go to gofevo.com event /VT FB CHAMOFOCOM 25, just $25. And reach out to Joe Wagner. Thanks to Montgomery County Chamber and for making the show part of the Montgomery County Chamber. Wow. Joining us now on the program, speaking of wow, I know he's excited. There he is. He is the head basketball coach at Mount St. Mary's, getting ready to defend their conference championship Coming up on Monday. What's up, Coach? How are you?
No, I'm doing great, Rick. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for joining us. You got an exhibition tonight, right? You playing tonight?
Yeah. We get a first taste of action tonight. We're going on the road, playing against Hood College down in Frederick, Maryland. So should be a good time.
Well, let's go through all the things you look for. You have your scrimmages, you get your team ready, and now you have an exhibition, which is more of a real game type of thing. What kind of things are you trying to work on? I think a lot of fans have asked me about all this. It's not unlike other leagues or sports trying to get ready for the season, but what kind of things are you trying to accomplish when you play these games?
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, we're trying to compete, right? We need to put a competitive product out there, and I need to make sure that our guys are competing at the level that they're expected to. And scrimmages are great. But it's different when there's some fans in the stands and you got the real jerseys on. And so most importantly, that's, we play into our standard of competition. Then it's, we're trying to see how maybe some unproven players are able to kind of assimilate themselves. One of the things with our rosters, we have, 4 or 5 guys that are unproven, whether they came from a higher level and are now here with us, or they're young, they're freshmen, and now get them a taste of action. Sometimes guys in those first tastes, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make those mistakes. And so getting them out of their system and letting them understand how I coach them through those mistakes and what that's going to be like. I can say it all I want in the recruiting process. I'm going to let you play through your mistakes. And, I'm not just going to yank you out every time you make a mistake, but they gotta see it sometimes, and so that'll be part of what we're trying to do. And then, hopefully we get a chance to execute. One of the reasons we're playing these guys is they play all zone, and one of the best zone defense teams in the country is in our league in Merrimack. And so a lot of times you get 2 days to try to get your zone offense ready for a really good zone team. So this forced us as coaches to put the zone offense in, to practice the zone offense, to teach our scout guys how to play a good zone defense early. So, that's part of the added benefit for this game is, give us a reason to make sure all that stuff is in.
That's so smart. I mean, you're looking ahead, you're scheduling ahead. And now when like you said, you're getting ready, let's say you're coming down for a crucial game in conference play. Whoa, my goodness, they play us in. Well, hey, we've already got this in, guys. Remember Hood? You can side-by-side film, whatever it takes. I like that. So you're accomplishing something that a lot of fans aren't thinking about watching your team play, right? What's the result? How'd guys look? Well, you're thinking about it from, okay, well, how are we going to get challenged by this particular type of look in the conference skid? That's cool.
Yeah, no question. And like I said, a lot of times you just put it off, right? We have so many things to work on. It's like, zone offense, we're not going to see that much zone. We don't need to work on it. Well, now I have no choice to put it in to get ready for this game.
Well, something that Coach Jones and Darius used to tell me all the time, how do guys fall into their roles, right? Because it's easy when you're out there 5-on-5 and you're running and they're playing every day. And then all of a sudden you can go, okay, here's our 5. It's not set in stone, but here's who we're going with. How do you feel like your team's responding to knowing their roles on the squad heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, it gets started with the first time you have a scrimmage, and then there's some conversation, and then it's great to see the response. We've had great response. We've had really competitive practices where, I think we've talked about it where, guys understand where they're at, and they have to be willing to be self-aware of where they are today, but also got to fight like hell to not stay there.
Sure.
Right. And so they've got to work in that kind of, in both of those places at the same time. And so they've been really good. And now it'll get brought back to light here tonight. I'm sure there will be 1 or 2 guys or 3 or 4 guys that are disappointed maybe with how many minutes they play or when they get in the game or who subs in before who. And, it's natural because we have competitive guys who all want to play. But we've talked all preseason about the sacrifice that they're going to have to make. And I believe that, we'll be able to follow this up with some conversation and some lead up to our first real game next Tuesday. So that guys they're willing to play the role that they need to play, whether that's, 35 minutes or whether that's 0 minutes. But they're also continuing to fight and work on their game to become the best player they can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Donny Lind joining us on the program, the head basketball coach at Mount St. Mary's. Of course, they won their championship in his first year in the MAAC, the other MAC, if you will. Your schedule. I know you did that a lot at Radford. You look for opponents. You help build up the schedule. And boy, oh boy, folks, listen to this. Morgantown on the 4th. Bucknell, such a strong program out of the Northeast. Then you've got St. Francis, who Radford also plays. Cincinnati, Maryland, Western Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah, we got quite a murderer's row in there. That's going to be a heck of a 2 weeks. We'll find out what we're made of for sure. For sure.
I love that, though, man. You've got the program back up to a level you've talked about many times. And, I know you're a very humble guy, but you've taken it to a championship level, but they've always had success. But now you've got them back there and you're scheduling like it. It's going to help you so much, not only financially, but it's going to help your team. I love it, man. That's what I wish more teams would do, what you're doing.
I mean, it's right. There's several benefits, and obviously there's also some possible downfalls of scheduling this way, right? Obviously, we have to in the financial and revenue-based climate that we're in. We have to be the team we got to bring in revenue any way we can to support our program and to support our players. And so playing those games is certainly a way to do that. We certainly get a nice check for playing in those games. But far more importantly than that is the experience that our guys gain.
Yeah.
I felt like when we walked in, to Duke last year, right? And they were as big and physical as you could get. Our guys had confidence, not because we'd won the MAC, or beat American in the first 4, but they had confidence because they'd had success on, ACC floors. They'd had success, against high major teams, whether that's winning the game or whether that's individual success or whether that's stretches of the games that we can point to where, hey, we're able to hang, right? We put on our shorts the same way they do, and we get out here and we between those lines, we tip it up, and I don't care how much they're making versus how much we're making. We can beat them any night, on one given night. And so, giving those guys that experience so that they've played in big environments, they've played against big, physical, strong teams, and then I think it can only help you. Now, it could test your confidence, right? It could test your togetherness if things don't go great, which statistics say they're not going to go great. We're not going to go 4 for 4 in 4 high major games, right? We're going to give them everything we got, but that's just the nature of what we do. And so, we got to, but we grow through the adversity that we have. That's how a team comes together. If you don't play anybody and you don't face any adversity until you get to January in your league, I think it's just hard to know how you're going to respond and to train that response.
Yes.
So we got to put them in a tough situation.
No, I love it. And what it does for these kids, like you say, I think they're going to get far more benefit out of it. And what it does for recruiting, people are going to know, wow, look what I get a chance to do if I go play for the Mountain, Coach Lind, right? I get to go. I think it's a win-win all the way around. You're right. The confidence level could get down a little bit, but you're so great at that with your staff. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I really don't.
Yeah. You anticipate it. You talk about it. You give them, and we pour confidence into these guys. We got good players. They're confident. They get over it a lot faster than I do. Players move on to the next game. And they, like I said, they have this irrational confidence, which is great that they have it. But at times you got to, it makes it hard to tell, hey, buddy, you're not all that all the time. We got to keep getting better. I'd rather have that problem, though, than guys who aren't confident.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And you know what? And I like the touch of traveling for your exhibition. You're out on the road. You're getting that taken care of. It's an environment that, a lot of teams just play a home game, get somebody they know they can beat by 50, and they move on to the next game, the first game. But you're not doing that because you have to travel so much early. So you're getting that kind of out of the way too.
Yeah, we might be the only team in the country. I didn't look it up, but we might be the only Division I team playing a road non-Division I exhibition game. I think we might be the only one. So yeah, I mean, it was a great idea until today. Now I'm second guessing how good of an idea it was. But we'll be ready. We'll be all right.
How many power schools are you playing overall here? I got to look. Okay, you get into
4.
Conference play.
We got 4.
You got 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, you
4
have more than I missed it.
No. Those 4, we get them out of the way early, and then hopefully we can build build our guys up. We play those 2 early conference games. We play 2 league games in early December.
Saw that.
Which is you gotta be ready. And so you got to make sure that the confidence is there and the guys are clicking. But the good thing is everybody's in the same boat, right? It's not like we play 2 and the rest of the league doesn't. But it'll be, we got to get them ready and ready for 2, obviously super meaningful conference games there early.
It has happened at Radford a lot. Were you there with Jones when we had to play December conference game or 2? We had to do that several times. Yeah, I remember maybe it was before. Yeah, it's terrible. I hate it. I don't like it.
I mean, you're not ready, right? You don't feel like you're ready. But again, everybody's not ready. So as long as we're as not ready as they are, and we'll tip it up and it's even. I mean, believe me, we don't need to have a podcast about the woes of conference scheduling. You know me, Rick. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to bitch about it. We're gonna take the hand we're dealt and play it to the best of our ability, and we'll be ready to play tonight. We'll be ready to play on Tuesday and every night that it's time to go. Whether I might in the back of my mind not think we're ready. By the time we step between those lines, everyone will feel like we're ready and we'll be out there giving it everything we got.
No, there's no question. One of the many things that Coach Lind and I kind of joined at the hip on early in our careers together was we'd go on the road and we rated the bacon. Now, I know this. Hey, all you Mount players that may be watching, you're going to have bacon on every trip. Is that correct?
So let me tell you, Rick, interesting. When you're the head coach, you get to make some decisions. And one of the things I've told my staff is there's some things that I don't care about, right? And if I don't care about it, I promise you, I do not care about it. Somebody else pick it. Let the players pick. I don't care. So we have 3 or 4 guys in our program that don't eat pork. And so I said, one of the things I care about is that when we go on the road, we have pork, bacon, and some other breakfast meat that is non-pork based. We could have chicken sausage. We could have turkey bacon. I don't care, but we need to have pork bacon with breakfast on the road. It's one of the things I care about. It's the fun part about being the head coach.
Exactly. And we'll share, reports. Even last year, we were like, hey, how's the bacon? It could be better. Yeah.
No question. It makes your day. It's just such a great day when you can start off with some high quality bacon.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When they get that right, it seems like it led to more wins. I don't have the statistical information, but it seems like when we were at Radford and we had good bacon, we usually won.
Look good, feel good, play good, taste good. It all goes together.
It all goes together. Well, it's going to be great. By the way, how's the fam? Everybody, I know, getting excited about the season. Silas now started to turn his attention to basketball. He's been involved in other things.
Yeah, no, our family's doing well. They're excited. It's it's what we do, right? This time of the year, everybody is shifts their mindset, shifts their mode, and we're in basketball mode, and the kids are excited for the season and be at the games, and they'll be out there tonight. The nice part is this is closer than a home game for my family. To go to the road exhibition game tonight is actually closer to the house than the home game. Okay. So that'll be nice for them. And then we'll, they'll be out traveling with us whenever they can and out supporting the team and having the guys, being around the guys. Everybody loves that.
No, that'll be great. It'll be great. Well, as always, man, I'm pulling like hell for you. Conference champs in 1 year, NCAA tournament win. Dude, it's going to get even better for your program. So good luck tonight, man. And first of all, I hope the bacon is good wherever you are.
I had to make my own today because this is a home road game. We had to make our own bacon. So I'm in the home office here for the home road game, but no, it's exciting time, man. This is the best time of the year for us, all of us basketball people. I know football's still going on. Apparently, allegedly, there's still college football and the NFL going on.
That's what I hear.
But this is the best time of the year as we roll into games, and excited to get our guys, let our guys showcase who they are and what they can do. And we got a fun, exciting team. Hopefully all of our growing NRV New River fan base will be tuned in to some ESPN Plus to watch them out here over the course of November and December.
Yeah, next time we have you on, I'm going to break the jersey out. I'm going to have the jersey out. So, get you guys.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Listen, great stuff as always. Good luck tonight. And anytime you want to come on, man, I'd like to kind of have you on during that gauntlet of the non-conference.
Yeah, no problem. We can, how it is. We can get going from the road like we used to do with the radio in the hotel on the road.
And then next time, I want to get into our Mississippi State story. That's still one of my highlight moments as a broadcaster. We'll have to do that.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, brother. Listen, have fun
Have a
tonight,
good
man.
one.
Stay safe. All right, man. Take care. Thanks for
Thanks.
coming on.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Donny Lind. One of my all-time favorite people. Yeah, listen, in case you missed it, here you go. This is what they're doing. West Virginia on the road. Bucknell, if you know, you know. St. Francis on the road. At Cincinnati. At Maryland. At Western Michigan. At Ohio State. Going to make money, as he just said. You have to. Program where he's at. Create revenue opportunities as much as you can. That's great. And that's a guy who's as in tune and self-aware as anybody I've ever known in college sports. All right, hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. We still have about 14 more minutes here. Or on the BDST text line. Let me get caught up here on our professional door text line. Obviously, most of the things there, I do have some JMU people saying great win. Yeah, it was. They're so good. About the whole potential of James Franklin. Again, we're not saying it's happened. We're saying I'm just passing along the information I got yesterday, twice, from two people who don't know each other. So take it for what you will. Go look at the 247 message board. It's there were other random people I was getting. People were showing quotes on X from people. It's getting close. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It's getting close. I think there's a lot of reasons. I think Jim hit on something too. Jim McAllister. That maybe Franklin's just looking for a better qualified life now in Blacksburg. The comparisons of Happy Valley, Pennsylvania to Blacksburg, 100% right on the money. We've played Penn State 3 times at Radford over my course of what we've done. And we won, by the way. We won a couple times. So I've been there, and it's almost laid out just like Blacksburg. So he's going to be coming to a place that he kind of already knows. And how much more money do you need? Correct. I don't know the answer, Jim. I'll never have that money, and it'll never be a problem that I get to enjoy. He's going to get at least half of his buyout money. He's already made how many millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. How much more money does it have to be to motivate you to go somewhere? That's a great question. And I think we don't know the inner workings of it. We don't know what somebody's interest might be, the peace of mind they might want to have. You're all right, Wayne. No ESPN Plus tonight. We will debut on Monday against the Leathernecks of Western Illinois. So tonight it's Bridgewater. You know, it is what it is. So I know it sounds crazy, but maybe money is not always the mitigating factor in these decisions. Jimbo Fisher's already said it would not be. That's why I think it's refreshing to hear what he said. He's a very wealthy man. And he failed mightily at Texas A&M, given their resources. But he's already come out and said exactly what Jim McAllister just said. I've got enough money. I've made more money not coaching than I did coaching. I'm ready to coach again. That was refreshing to hear from somebody. That brought him up considerably. I appreciate that, Rick. I really do. Really, I mean it too, Rick. I mean it. I mean, I walk around here. Heck, you know what? In the morning, we don't have bathroom towels that we go in there and we wash our face with. You know what we do? We've got money. We just got stacks of money right there. We just wipe it off, you know. I just want to coach football again. If it's not in Blacksburg, be somewhere else. No, it's not the Fighting Squirrels of Mary Baldwin, which is a regular season game. That was a genuine laugh out loud moment when I had no idea who Longwood opened up with. And when he said Mary Baldwin, I just thought it was funny. 12 million here, 15 million other places. Cost of living, not a problem. Correct. And that's one thing that I think people assume that cover the sport. And I learned this over the years from all the basketball coaches that I've talked to. And what I like to do, and I've had great conversations with some of the biggest names ever in coaching. I'm not trying to be like, hey, Rick. I'm talking about guys who have all the money. They're at big places, whether it's John Calipari, whether it's Bill Self, whether it's Roy Williams. I don't care who you're talking about. Shaka Smart. They've all at some point, because I like to talk for about 10 minutes if they have time before we just jump into an interview, let them get more comfortable with me and me them and kind of get an idea of how this conversation needs to go. So they're engaged in the 3 minutes that we have for our pregame interview. And I've learned that you can't just assume the motivations of coaches and what they're looking for. It's not always money driven. It's not always to be in a massively power league. They think about their family. They think about what they may like, where they've been before, may chisel out and dictate what they're looking for either in their current situation or what they may want to settle into when they retire. Maybe that's where James Franklin is, as Jim indicated. Maybe that's where he is. He's been Vanderbilt, Nashville. He's been in Happy Valley in a smaller place than Nashville. He built Vanderbilt. He had Penn State in the playoff. Maybe Blacksburg looks like a safe landing spot. Maybe it has everything to do with what he could potentially do here, given where they are and given what the new commitment that they have to what could be truly his program, right? Coming in right off the bat with all this new money, with all this new mindset. And again, this is all speculation because nothing's been announced and I've not been told about an imminent announcement. We're just talking about following up potentially on his scenario since he is the big story right now. We don't know their motivations. You can't assume anybody's motivation. And I try to remind people of that. It's not always about a big time school. Unfortunately, it usually is about money. Unfortunately, that's usually the case. I'm not saying it is with him if this happens. Morris says, can you imagine if Bimbo Fisher accent got stuck? Probably all the time. Me forever having to announce Radford games, Morris, and the Jimbo Fisher. Hey, y'all, welcome everybody to the Dedman Center. I couldn't get a job coaching, so I decided to go ahead and just be a broadcaster. I don't either, Matthew. I don't either. He's already been there. If it is Franklin, I don't think Virginia Tech would be a stepping stone. I agree with that 100%. He's at a power school. Virginia Tech was a major big boy program. It hasn't been for the last 8 years. It's time to make it a big boy program again. He will bring that confidence if he is indeed the guy to Blacksburg. He's not stepping down, okay, maybe from the Big Ten overall competitively, but he's still in the power system at a place where there's a lot less pressure. Maybe he wants out of that. Maybe he's sitting around going, well, what happened to me kind of changes things a little bit at Penn State. I brought a lot of this on myself. Maybe some self-introspection has gone on. Virginia Tech's in a troubled program. They've been a troubled football school for 8 years. It's wrecked a lot of things around that athletic community. I feel like I can go down there understanding that recruiting blueprint, understanding what my mentor, Brent Pry, says about this place, how they even treated him in his exit. Good people there. Maybe that's what he wants. We don't know. And I hope if this does happen, I hope I get a chance to talk to him. I'd love to get into his motivations. Maybe it's not always about all that stuff, as I've learned from many of these coaches that have landed places in college basketball. Yeah, so why not? He's going to be technically 3 coaches removed from Frank Beamer and the legend. That's a great point, Paul. now he's going to come in, and there's no pressure to try to do what the previous coach did. Everybody wants to forget about that, even though it was his guy. So we will see. We'll see how all this plays out coming forward. But keep an eye out. Keep the information bold here over the next little bit, and we'll see what happens. Again, I just want to clarify that this is not an announcement that it's imminent. This is just me passing on the information that I got yesterday. And I'm just sharing it with you because I trust this source that I have in the Big Ten probably more than any other. And if he's calling me randomly on a Tuesday afternoon, then he's got something to tell me. So I shared it with you. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's wrong, I'll say, hey, it was wrong. It wasn't good information, but I'm just sharing with you what I was told. Yeah. Anyway, coming up on Monday, Marty Smith and Coach Ragg will be with us again. Looks like from 7 to 8 on Monday. Worked that out yesterday afternoon. And we have a brand new sponsor for that segment we're excited to announce as well. So, yeah. You know what, Morris? Remember? Thanks, Zach. Good to see you, brother. I appreciate that. Prayers are very appreciated and very needed. Thank you. Thank you. You know, you've all been through it. It's tough. I mean, we're doing our morning walk on Saturday morning, and Janet's sister calls, and we just talked to her mom the night before. You know, things seem fine. And then when I saw that, she never calls, especially on a Saturday. And she looked at me, I looked at her, and we kind of just bit our lip. And next thing I know, she's on the ground in tears. And it just changes your whole everything. It just changes everything. So it's been a tough time. Now we're trying to arrange all these travel plans amidst of basketball starting. It's a lot. So being able to do this with you has helped a lot, and with our great guests. Yeah. So, but thank you. It means a lot. Everybody who's reached out. It's been very, very helpful. Tomorrow, I know we'll have Andy Bitter and Dwight Vick. We'll see what else develops as things go on. So thanks to you, everybody. Again, please subscribe to the channel. If we get to 1,000, we're good to go. We're getting there. Where are we now? Let me see. I think now that we've had this, I don't want to call it. Yeah, it has. I guess it's an upgrade. Apparently, the two streams are still going. Hey, we're over 650 now. It's great. The streams are still going. The two different streams. We're just not being promoted, but I understand that things are. We're still well over 1,000 views, so that's good. That's good. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you so much, and we'll be here tomorrow on the Thursday edition. Thanks to all of our great guests. Man, everybody was outstanding today. Kion Brown, Damien Sordelett, David Teel, and Donny Lind. Radford exhibition tonight. We'll let you know how that unfolds against Bridgewater, and we will see you tomorrow on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your hump day.